It was a dark, gray, rainy, windy, stormy day. It was the eve of Yom Kippur, and Jonathan and his family drove up to the cemetery of the Hebrew Pre-Burial Society. They got out of the car, and there was someone waiting. And Jonathan walked over to the man, and he said, "Mr. Santiago, thank you so much for being here and meeting me." And Jonathan's father said, "What is this? Why are we here, Jonathan?" And Jonathan told them this story. A year before, he and his friends had been playing in their favorite park. Now, this park, there was an old woman, raggedy clothes with 2 shopping bags, always sitting on one bench. She never spoke to anyone. She never said a word. And they were actually kind of afraid of her. So they didn't try to approach her. But as they were playing keep away, their game kept getting closer and closer and closer to her. And the ball went too far, and Jonathan ran to get it, not realizing he was right near the old woman. And he tripped, and he fell over one of her grocery bags and landed on the other grocery bag. And all of the groceries went spilling out. And he broke a whole dozen eggs. And the woman was furious. And as she was putting the groceries back into her bag, she said, "Stupid kids, why don't you leave me alone, you stupid kids?" And the kids were frozen. And the other children ran away, and Jonathan just stood there not knowing what to do. And he felt terrible that he had broken this woman's eggs. So he followed her home. And he followed her to her building, which she lived in the upper floor over a grocery store. So he went into the grocery and he bought, with his hot fudge sundae money, eggs to bring them up to the old woman to replace the ones he had broken. When he crept up the stairs and he saw she was laying in front of her door, the grocery bag spilled all over. And just by looking at her, he could tell she was no longer living. She had died right there in front of her doorway. And as he stood there in horror and he looked at her, not knowing what to do, a green mist rose out of her. And it became the shape of the old woman. And she reached towards him and he ran away. And he saw her the whole year, over and over and over again. Her spirit would come and would reach out for him, and he didn't know what to do. And then when he was at services for Rosh Hashanah, and he heard the call of the shofar, he said, "I know how to make this right." And he went back to the store, and he talked to Mr. Santiago, and he said, "Could you give me a job? I'll do anything." And he worked for Mr. Santiago for a year. What did he save his money for? He told his parents over and over again, he knew that the old woman's spirit would keep coming to him until he made it right. She didn't have any family, and he found out that they had buried her with no stone to mark where she was buried. So he thought if he could buy a stone to place on the grave, that might be a way to make things right, and her spirit would stop coming to him. So Mr. Santiago led the family over to the gravestone, and the cheesecloth was still over it, and they did the unveiling and they took it off. And there on the headstone it said, "Here lies Gittel Rosenberg, died September 1st, 2001. Forgive me." And Jonathan's father looked at him and said, "Forgive me? Why did you put that on there?" And Jonathan said, I know, you're not supposed to write about yourself. You're supposed to write about the person who is the grave is for. But I didn't know how to get her to stop coming and haunting me. And I thought, since I couldn't talk to her ghost, that I would put it on her stone and maybe she would forgive me. He had saved his money all year to buy that stone and make the special inscription. And his father was so impressed at this wonderful mitzvah that he did. And they all put a little pebble on top of the headstone. But then as they stood there, a green light started to glow and a mist started to come up from the grave. And it was Gittel Rosenberg's spirit once again. And she was reaching out for Jonathan. And his father said, stay away, leave my son alone. And Jonathan started crying. I've done everything I could. I don't know what else to do. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry I broke your eggs. I've done everything to try to make it right. And Gittel Rosenberg's spirit spoke to him. And she said, forgive you? You should forgive me. And Jonathan said, why? She said, I was so mean in my life and I never spoke to anybody. And then when I did, I said mean things and I was horrible to you. Please, can't you forgive me? Before Yom Kippur, please forgive me. And her voice got more and more desperate and her spirit got farther and farther away. And she kept saying, please forgive me, please forgive me. And Jonathan said, yes, I forgive you. And all of a sudden, the green smoke of her spirit burst into a bright white light, and stars went all around. And as the smoke cleared away from the headstone, Jonathan said, look, Mom and Dad, the inscription has changed. It said, here lies Gittel Rosenberg, died September 1st, 2001, forgiven.
Now Cindy is going to lead us in Havdalah. Oh, why do I have this problem every time?
Oh. I'm full of hot air.
Is that what it is? Windy.
Your Hanukkah present is going to be a big box of windproof
I know what
matches.
the problem is. Oh, the lighter. That's what we need. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei v'samim. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who creates all the spices. So because we are trying to be cautious, we're not going to pass the spices around this time. And for the candle, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei meorei ha'esh. Blessed
Amen.
are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who creates the light of fire. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil bein kodesh lechol. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who separates the holy from the ordinary. Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov. All right. And now, Rabbi Camel is going to begin lighting these candles with a safe candle lighter. And Mrs. Wood is going to help take the high school students inside. High school students, Mrs. Wood.
I'll bring you over.
Mrs. Wood? Where'd she go? There she is. Mrs. Wood is going to take the high school students inside, and she's going to pass around the Torah things. Okay. And while she takes the students inside, and she has the script of what everybody gets, Mrs. Wood, yes? Okay. I will begin. We are now entering the time of awe. In less than a week, we will begin a new year. This past year has presented our world with challenges on many levels. As we enter the darkness of night, we light these candles to go from darkness to light. One candle lights another, increasing the light of the world. The world, which at this time can feel cold and dark, may we increase the light by our presence, one person with our community, with one another, showing that light and resilience can overcome any obstacle. These candles represent the light that we bring to the darkness of our world. We need to bring out light to the darkness against the pain of the acts of hatred, the vitriol, mean words, and the unrest in our world. What seems intense now is only because it feels that we are in the darkness. But we can use this light to remind us of our charge to go out and to love others. These candles represent our courage to confront some sorrow, to comfort each other, and to change each other's lives by our presence and our support, and outpouring of strength that we give to one another. These candles are to remember that even during troubled times, may we enter this season of Selichot, of the high holidays, and let us be comforted by the light and become light to one another. May we always remember to act with caring and compassion as we create the world the prophets dreamed of. That Micah, who said, "When all shall sit under their vines and their fig trees, and none shall make them afraid." I think that was Isaiah. Anyway, right now, we are going to be bringing out the Torahs. The Torahs will be robed in white. And so we invite Ezra Lewitton, Sophia Hoy, Sam Birnbaum, Nathan Fruin, Jackson Hoy, Micah Lewitton, Aiden Kirsch, Michaela Ray, Sam Scullion, and Kai Rolinski, all who will be holding a holy and sacred Torah. And so I ask everyone at this time, if they are able to do so, as the Torahs come out of the sanctuary, to please rise. All right, here they come. Thank you, Rabbi. So as our Torah holders emerge from the building, we rise together as one congregation, each of our lights lighting each other's. And so we say, we hold these Torahs in their ceremonial white covers to represent purity and wholeness. And at this time of year, we ask forgiveness from one another and from God. And so we prepare ourselves, our souls and our minds, to turn with the season. So I'm going to ask, because you are so handsome, I'm going to have you guys come out in front of the tent. All right, come and follow Rabbi Camel. And Paul is going to show how wonderful these kids are as they each hold a Torah scroll or Torah item. Let these Torahs represent kindness. As we change the covers, may it mean we turn our hearts with compassion toward one another and go out into the new year with kindness.
Let this Torah represent friendship. This is the Wheaton College Torah, this one that Ezra is holding, that we keep on permanent loan. Let it represent the communities who have very differing worldviews can agree to stay connected for the mutual benefit of everyone. And let that strengthen us as we enter into this new year.
Let this Torah represent purity. And as we hold this Torah, may it remind us to have clean hands and pure hearts as we go into the new year with purity.
Ezra.
Tzedakah, social
6 feet
justice.
apart.
Let this
Everybody
Torah
move down.
represent tzedakah and a compassionate heart for those who need us to lift up our voices, to help and to heal. As we change this Torah cover, may it inspire us to tikkun olam in healing the world and all that is broken around us.
And let our fifth Torah represent wholeness or shalom. And as we hold this Torah, may we strive to bring peace. Peace and life to others, and to continue to do the work of our souls, cheshbon hanefesh, the work of our souls, as we begin this new year.
And as we hold these Torahs, let them remind us to always strive to see all that is beautiful in our world, counting our blessings and having a grateful heart. But may we always keep Torah in our hearts, so we may be inspired to be partners with God in creating a more caring and compassionate world for all to live.
Let me give this to Sam. Sam, can you hold the...
Yo, can't get the kids 6 feet apart.
Okay, guys, back inside,
You're-
and
You're broadcasting.
you're
through that.
broadcasting. So please, okay. So Paul, you're gonna come and play hockey.
Well, is what's being broadcast?
Yes, if you don't want to hold it, I'll get somebody else to.
Well, I'll hold it, but I should get closer so people can see.
Let silver of the moon and waning crescent, small and slender, glowing the east at the end of the journey, a curve of silver, barely there, that fades away with the dawn. Faintless light the eye can discern, like the soul within me, barely there, waning and weary as the year winds down. At the end of the journey, the moon flickers out and darkness awaits the new. Now in the stillness, we can feel it being born. Remind us, the horizon will be bright again. The waxing crescent will rise, heal our hearts, gather us in from darkness, restore the light within us.
When we do Yom Kippur, the bookends are Selichot and Yom Kippur, where we start the confession period. And as the days of awe near, we reach for the infinite, mindful of all frailty. We seek the holy despite our mortality. We carry within us the Ancient of Days. Despite loneliness within, we sense that we belong to a single soul, a spirit that fills the entire universe. Let us find the universal spirit, a new source of strength and significance, more compassion, more generosity, more gratitude for life. Let our hearts be open to self-reckoning, and may we grasp how vital to our lives is teshuvah, the path of return. On this night of forgiveness, we confess our wrongs and take account of sins, failures of judgment, weakness of will. The hour is late, and our need to be forgiven profound. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, tavo lefanecha tefilatenu. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our prayers reach your presence. And when we turn to you, do not be indifferent, Adonai. We are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong. Together, we confess. Together, we take responsibility.
We abused and abandoned. We acted without thinking. We blamed others when we failed. We boasted and belittled. We coveted and corrupted. We coerced the weak to do our will. We drove away those we loved with silence. We deceived and denied. We enticed and enslaved. We exalted money and material goods. We fouled air, sea, and land. We flattened and falsified. We gravitated to those who gossip. We gave up our ideals and gave in to our impulses. We hated and humiliated. We ignored and idolized. We judged others rashly and wrongly. We killed. We were knowingly unkind. We lacked commitment to causes we espoused. We missed the mark and minimized our mistakes. We neglected those who depend on us. We overreached and overreacted. We poisoned and polluted. We quelled the voice of conscience within us. We ridiculed and resented. We refused to accept help. We spurned the wisdom of our tradition. We talked too much or not enough. We traumatized our children with anger. We issued ultimatums and made ugly threats. We were vain and vicious. We wasted time, strength, and talent. We exploited and exasperated. We yearned too much for the prizes and praise. And we failed to share fully in the joy of Zion reborn.
And so we sing V'al Kulam. For most of Selichot services, we stand up and we place our hand to our chest as we afflict ourselves with every sin that we talk about. And even if we haven't done the sin that we are reading about, we do this communally to show that no one should be embarrassed. And so, for the sins that we have committed, O God, we ask forgiveness. For the ways we have wronged you under duress and by choice, the harm we have caused in your world deliberately and by mistake, the ways we have openly and secretly, the harm we caused in your world consciously and unconsciously, the ways we have wronged you by hating without cause, the harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor, the ways we have wronged you through selfish and petty spirit, and the harm we have caused your world by hardening our hearts. Ve'al kulam Eloha slichot, salach lanu, machal lanu, kaper lanu. For all these failures and judgment of will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, and lead us to atonement.
We stray and we sin. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha. When we fail to make peace, the highest good, and when we are silent in the face of evil. When we forsake those who suffer far away, and when we shun the wronged and destitute among us. When we diminish God's image through violence or indifference, and when we fail to take care of those who depend on us. When we engage in slander or deceit, and when we distort the truth for personal gain. When we judge others rashly or unfairly, and when we stroke the fires of communal strife. When we fail to embrace Torah, the tree of life, to walk its paths and make its ways our own. When we stray and when we sin, when we offer no blessings, no words of thanks for the breath within us and for the wonder of being. V'al kulam Elohei slichot, slach lanu, machal lanu, kapar lanu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Almighty and merciful, we come before you without pretense. Avinu Malkeinu, we are reaching toward you. Help us find you. Avinu Malkeinu, strengthen us for the holy days that lie ahead. Avinu Malkeinu, be with us as we strive to heal ourselves and become whole. Avinu Malkeinu, help us to repair a broken world. Avinu Malkeinu, hasten us for the days of redemption. Avinu Malkeinu, chanenu ba'anenu, ki ein banu ma'asim, aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love. And so we invite our Baal Tekiah to come up. Jim Weisskopf to please join us as we finish Avinu Malkeinu. And we play Avinu Malkeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lefanecha, we have strayed and sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu Chamal Aleinu Ve'al Olalenu V'Tapenu, have compassion on us and our families. Avinu Malkeinu Kala Dever V'Cherev V'Ra'ah Me Aleinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and anger. Avinu Malkeinu Kala Kel Tsar Umastin Me Aleinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu Kodvenu B'Sefer Chayim Tovim, enter our names in the books of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova, and renew us for a year of goodness.
And as we prepare to hear the sound of the shofar, this is a shofar. And this is a ram's horn that we will learn all about on Rosh Hashanah. We stand in gratitude with the light and love and support and warmth of community that we have together as we hear the call of the shofar blast, Tekiah Gedolah. Shana Tova, Shavua Tov. All right, Yasher Koach. Sam, thank you. You are
Here's, I don't know
excellent.
who's this is.
You were an excellent computer stand.
Yes.
Thank you. Well done, Rabbi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yasher Koach.
Yes, very nicely done. Jen.
Very
3 days of
nicely
practice.
done. That
I'm
was,
almost ready for Rosh Hashanah.
yeah, that was, you know, you were terrific. Terrific, terrific. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We are so grateful. Thank you all for being here. And I see you. You are all here. Oh, look at you guys. Oh, I see who you are. All right, I'm going to show you everybody who's here. We are having a party, guys. It's really quite a Slichot Palooza. And Janice, I'm giving you credit because you created the name. Don't think I don't remember that. Teshuvah. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So friends, thanks for being here. I feel like I'm what's the word? Broadcasting live from I don't know, downtown something or other. Anyway, we're so grateful you're here, friends. Thank you all for being here. We have about 80 people in the parking lot, not including the police officer. He's over there. Very nice guy. And it's been a very good night. A really, really nice way to start all of the, oh, that's right. Now the kids can blow their shofar out. Anyway, so grateful that the YouTube actually worked and you guys are all here. And Yasher Koach to my high school kids. I'm going to go love on them and I'm going to end this meeting. So thank you all for being here, friends. And well done, guys. So glad you're here. Okay, Yasher Koach, guys. Thank you, you handsome things. Look at you. I know, I'm so impressed. He's wearing a tie and everything. All right. Thank you. All right, friends, I gotta go. Yes, my darlings. Oh, you're holding a candle. Be careful with the candle. What, the glow sticks weren't good? You want the candles now? I love it. I love it. You guys are awesome.
Can I still come back and maybe record that?
Yes, please do. Please do. Where's the phone?
That is so cool.
Do we have a who?
Well, it's got to be some of this. Is it
A candle can.
Oh, you have it?
Oh, all right. Bye, everybody. Okay.
Okay.